you think differed tonight? Or we could have finished?
Yeah, we knew what the opportunity was, of course, and you know, at the end of the day, I don't think it was a lack of effort. I just feel we were just a bit blah today, and you don't want to see that in a moment like this. Like certainly that's a misstep on our part, but thought we dug in, and obviously the first sort of 6 minutes of that third, I think we shifted things, and then we gave up the second goal, and that seemed to swing things. But you know, it really felt like a great playoff game. You know, you're playing an opponent whose back's up against the wall, and they're the reigning champions. So they were able to manage the moment well. So all the credit to them. Certainly, it was a great game on their part. We just didn't find our stride and just didn't look comfortable all game.
Considering what's on the line, how do you explain falling short or being off, if you will?
Yeah, it's a hard one to explain, and it's one as a coaching staff, you're like, oh man, you start replaying everything that you've done. But I think at the end of the day, it was just maybe the moment was a little bit bigger than we anticipated. So yeah, it's a misstep on our part, that's for sure, and we'll make sure that it's not the case on Saturday.
So what's the message going into Saturday then?
We have our own ticket. We have the ticket in our hands still. That hasn't changed, and so it's just making sure that we're learning from this experience and recognizing now. We're a little bit up against the wall. We have a ticket though. So, if you get excited to win a hockey game, right, versus that fear of losing a hockey game, we talked about in the second intermission, like it changes your mentality. So we got to make sure we're excited to go win a hockey game on Saturday.
Do you draw on last year's experience at all? The parallels are interesting, right? You go to Toronto for determining your playoff fate. Do you draw on that, or is there any positives that you can take from that?
Yeah, we've been through it once, so there's an experience component there. Obviously, fell a little short last year, so there's a fire inside all of us to make sure that we manage that scenario differently this year. So, but it's also a different team, and it's a group that's worked incredibly well and hard together for one another. Again, you look at our second half, we've had a lot of positive momentum this entire second half. So we got to lean into what we know has been working for us and stay true to that. And we just were a quieter group tonight. And we're at our best when we're louder and we're having some fun. So we'll make sure we find that for Saturday, and we'll make sure we play the game the right way.
The quietness you're talking about is on the bench and in the room and everything. So is that nerves?
I don't know what it is. You'll have to ask the players a little bit. Certainly, early in the year we felt it, but they did such a great job working through it. And I would say the last sort of 10, 12 games, it's been feeling quite comfortable there, and you can see them sort of inspiring one another. So it could have been the moment a little bit, but again, it's just part of growing and learning. So we recognize it, and now you just address it and you make the adjustment.
What lessons did you learn from last year around this time that you can apply or change differently this year?
Well, I think when you look at this year, like you look at our second half, like you can see that there's a belief in what we're doing, and when we execute our small details and our structure, we execute it collectively, like as a team, as a united group, great things are happening for us. So I feel like we're in a much better spot, just being in year two and getting more familiar with who we are and what we want to do. But you also realize like this is what we sign up for. You want these pressure games. Like if you're not playing in pressure games at this year, you're not where you want to be. So it's leaning into that and remembering like that's the dream. That's what you hope for. If you're going to win a championship, you're going to be in this moment quite a few times.
She thought maybe the team came out a little blah. How do you explain kind of maybe that reaction with so much on the line?
I think it's hard to put your finger on. I mean, it happens. It's happened to every team this season, and I think it's not the first time it's happened to a team this week. There's no excuse and there's no reason you can really pinpoint, but the game happened. It is what it is, but at the end of the day, we're still in charge of our destiny, and we're going to keep rolling with that.
Do you think there was any nervousness at all, knowing the opportunity and what it all meant to win a game like this?
I don't know about nervous. Well, maybe nerves, but in a good way. I think, it means you care. But I think maybe it just wasn't our night tonight. But I think this group's more excited about the opportunity than scared and nervous about the other possible outcome.
She did mention there was a quietness that's not normally there, and like on the bench and in the room. She was asked why. She said, "You'll have to ask the players that." So.
So you're asking me.
You're doing great.
Well, she's in her own world, so I don't know.
I appreciate that.
She can
Keep
answer.
answering. I can't.
I mean, I don't think that we can make it that deep. Like, of course, it's a missed opportunity, and Would be nice to be up here after a win and with an X beside our name, but I think it'd be silly if we tried to start from scratch and lost the belief that we've been building. Bottom line, we got to win in Toronto in a couple days, and we're still in this fight, so I think there's multiple ways you could look at it, but we're choosing the one that's going to feel us better.
What did you learn from last year being in this exact same spot going into, this is my last question, in the exact same spot going into the last game where a win gets you into the playoffs? Is there something that you can draw on from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think the players that were here last year, you got to look at things like that as lessons. You can't, you don't want to ignore it, but in the same breath, this is a different team, a different season, and the group that was there last year, I think we definitely want to learn and take that as a lesson. But honestly, being someone that was here last year, that's not in my mind. I'm all in on this season and this group, and it's a different story.
Throughout the game tonight, how hard was it to focus on the game rather than the big picture of what this game meant?
Do you want
Sorry. I mean, like, we knew what this game meant, but I feel like we went at it in the same way that we've been going at a lot of our games recently. You know, our second half of the season's been pretty strong, and so I think we just kind of trying to build off that momentum and do the things that we've been doing all along, and not take this one, too seriously.
And how do you approach the game on Toronto, knowing that this is a must-win to get into the playoffs?
I think, we kind of approach it like we did this game and maybe we'll have a little bit more success. We better have a little bit more success. But, again, like Clarky said, like, we're not going to drop back, and start from a low. We've been playing really well, and I think we're just going to have to move on past this game and pick up where we were right before it and just keep pushing.
And how would you rate I'll ask Emily this one, how would you rate your urgency in this game?
I mean, I no question it could have been better. We could have started off a bit better, a bit more jam, but, you have to give credit to Minnesota. They controlled the puck well, and they played how they had to play to win. We had moments of good pushes, moments of urgency. But yeah, we got to take this as a lesson, and we'll be even hungrier for Toronto.
Gwyneth, do you draw on anything from your experience at Worlds going into a game like this on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, it's the pressure's the privilege kind of thing, but, we all have to step up a little bit to next game, and I think we're all pretty comfortable doing that. We're all pulling for each other, so, I can draw on a little bit of experience just kind of running on, nerves and stuff, but so can everyone. A lot of, all the girls here have played in high-stakes games, and they know what it takes, so.
Does it help you have a better road record than home record? Does that come into play at all on Saturday?
Considering that's news to me, probably not. Not thinking about that too much. I think, you want to twist things and use things to your advantage, so that's good to know. Thank you. Obviously, there's tons of stats and analytics out there that we can use in our favor and in our confidence. But yeah, we've had a nice home stretch here in the second half. But to your point, we do well on the road, and Toronto has a really nice hotel and nice rink, and honestly, it's a nice trip. So. No, I'm not too worried about it being a road trip. I think we'll definitely get up for it, and obviously we all know what's on the line.